LA feels different today. Not loud, not chaotic, electric. If you followed this team long enough, you know that kind of calm usually means the real work is happening behind closed doors. This offseason isn't vacation, it's an exam. With a few smart cuts, the Chargers can push their cap space past $100 million. That's flexibility you don't get every year. Options you can actually act on. But cap space isn't a banner. It's leverage, and it's a trap if you treat it like a scoreboard. Spend it sloppy and you're a pricey team that still can't protect Justin Herbert, still can't finish games, still can't close the fourth quarter when it tightens up. Then ESPN rolls out Matt Bowen's top 50 free agent rankings, and 3 names connected to our situation show up on that list. That's the market talking. That's agents smiling. That's other teams taking notes. And it's the Chargers front office getting squeezed into choices whether they want to be or not. Because this isn't really about who's out there. It's about who you cannot let walk out the door. Start with a guy who made SoFi Stadium feel dangerous again off the edge. Odafe Owe. Edge. Pure pass rusher energy. He doesn't just hunt sacks, he messes with a quarterback's internal clock. He landed in LA and looked like a different player. Fast get-off, better angles, living around the backfield, forcing hurried decisions. In this scheme, with this staff, he finally looked maximized in a way we hadn't consistently seen. And the moment you show that kind of ceiling at a premium position, the silence ends. Teams call. Money talks. If a familiar voice from his past is pulling from the other side, you know how quickly that turns from "we'd love to have him back" into "we're in a fight." We want him in powder blue, no question. The market doesn't care what the Bolt fam wants. Next is the name people love to slap with the washed label without sitting through the tape. Khalil Mack. Yeah, the sack totals didn't hit like 2023. Yeah, that elbow injury took games off the table. But modern edge play isn't a sack count contest. It's collapsing the pocket, forcing early throws, setting up 3rd and long where the offense gets stuck playing behind the chains. Mack still brings that. And he still brings it in ways that matter. There's also something real here. He's chasing that first playoff win. 4 seasons with the Chargers, and it still hasn't happened. That hunger can pull a veteran 2 directions at once. Stay and finish the job here, or look elsewhere if the path feels cleaner. Nobody has to say it out loud for it to sit there in the locker room. Then you get to the one that splits Bolt fam right down the middle. Zion Johnson. Young. Durable, always available, but coming off his worst grading year. So what are you betting on? Grades or growth? Because pressure up the middle is the one place a quarterback can't just escape. It's where Herbert can't step up, can't set his base, can't let routes breathe. A clean concept turns into a panic throw in a blink. If Zion makes the jump, the whole offense settles. Red zone execution gets cleaner. 3rd and long stops feeling like the default setting. If he doesn't, you're right back to asking your franchise QB to live in survival mode. And while everyone's staring at that cap number like it's a win total, the next layer hits even closer to home. Fans can dream on splash moves and highlight names, but Herbert spent too much of this season dealing with the one kind of pressure you can't pretend away. Interior pressure. Straight up the middle. It wrecks timing. It wrecks confidence. It turns drives into punts before they really start. Now think about this for a second. Over the final 6 games of the regular season, one veteran interior lineman quietly posted the best pass blocking grade among interior offensive linemen in that stretch. No hype reel, no viral quotes, just clean pockets and a steadier offense. There's talk about a fit. Nothing is confirmed yet, but the dots connect. Kevin Zeitler, guard. A true trenches veteran. PFF looked at the Chargers as the best landing spot for him, and the reasoning is blunt. LA allowed the most interior pressures during the regular season. That's not annoying. That's a franchise-level problem. You can't ask Justin Herbert to play hero ball every single week behind a patchwork interior and still expect a real playoff run. Even at nearly 36, Zeitler is still playing like one of the best interior blockers in the league. Overall grade, 83.9. And that late season pass protection grade, 89.3, says he wasn't just hanging on, he was winning. So the debate gets real, fast. Do you invest in a veteran near the end of his career? Or do you gamble on development and the draft? If your priority is protecting Herbert right now, a guard who wins with angles, hands, and IQ is the kind of boring move that shows up when December football gets mean. Less interior pressure helps everything. Run game, play action, your entire third down menu, and even the defense staying fresher because drives aren't dying instantly. And with the Chargers sitting around $88 million in estimated cap space as of late January, with a path to even more, you're not forced into desperation shopping. You can craft a smart offer. Shorter term, incentives, flexibility. A deal that raises the floor without wrecking what you can do later. But every big decision closes another door. Spend in the trenches now, and your draft priorities shift. Which brings me to the Senior Bowl, because something happened in those practices that Chargers fans shouldn't shrug off. It starts like every other day. Helmets, pads, sharp contact, scouts writing notes like machines. Then one rep happens and the whole vibe changes. A win that's too fast, too violent, too clean. You see a coach stop mid-thought and just watch. When a head coach reacts like that, it isn't random. That's his football brain doing math in real time. Jim Harbaugh was on the sideline, and one moment, one rep, had him smiling. And if you've watched Harbaugh, you know he doesn't hand out that reaction for free. The position? Defensive tackle. And yes, the Chargers just extended Tier Tart. But if you can add a real blue-chip presence inside, especially one with pass rush upside, you do it. Pressure up the middle changes quarterbacks. It changes games. It frees up your edges. It lets your secondary play faster. It lets you win without living off blitzes. Now the wrinkle. This prospect came into Senior Bowl week with questions because he missed most of the 2025 season with a foot injury. So every snap carried extra weight. Not just can you win, but can you hold up? Are you explosive? Are you balanced? Are you still that guy? And he answered. Caleb Banks, defensive tackle. 6'6", 330 pounds. Big frame, long arms, and he showed that speed and power combo in one-on-ones that offensive linemen hate. He won reps as a pass rusher, got into the backfield, and he also flashed as a run defender during team periods. So what does that mean for the Chargers? Options and leverage. If you can generate pressure inside without selling out, your defense becomes tougher to solve. Corners can be more aggressive because the ball has to come out early. The pass rush becomes a unit, not a prayer. And with pick number 22, this is where it gets interesting. Because if Harbaugh's reaction is any clue, Banks is on the radar as a possible first-round target, health questions and all, because the upside fits exactly what this roster needs at the core. Now, just when it felt like the Chargers had their off-season pieces settling into place, here comes another team trying to yank one loose. Everything looked steady, staff getting set, continuity building. Then the phone starts ringing from New York, and the Giants aren't calling about a player. They're calling about a brain, a developer, someone trusted in the QB room, someone who was close, really close, to getting promoted in LA. Franchise quarterbacks don't grow in a vacuum. They grow through routine, shared language, detail work. That person who translates the playbook into daily habits matters. Losing him doesn't end a team, but it absolutely changes rhythm. And yeah, some people shrug at that until Sunday hits. The name is Shane Day, Chargers quarterbacks coach, widely respected around the league in that role, and someone who's been instrumental in Justin Herbert's career. He was on the short list for the Chargers offensive coordinator opening, and he interviewed for it. This wasn't some courtesy meeting, he was a real in-house option. Now the Giants are interviewing him for their offensive coordinator job. So is that a loss? It can be. Continuity matters. But context matters more. Harbaugh had a rare choice: promote from within, or swing when a high-level offensive mind becomes available. Mike McDaniel entered the picture, and when someone like that shows interest, plans move. The Chargers brought McDaniel in as offensive coordinator. New system, new sequencing, new ways to create chunk plays and make life easier on Herbert. If Shane Day leaves, it matters. But it's not an empty chair. The offense has a clear architect now, and McDaniel installing his offense while working directly with Justin Herbert, that's a real counterweight. On defense, the Chargers moved quickly too, with Chris O'Leary stepping in as defensive coordinator, someone who knows the building and the culture, which helps shrink the learning curve. The bigger point is simple. Teams are trying to poach Chargers coaches because the work is being noticed. That doesn't happen to fragile programs. It happens when development is real and the plan looks credible from the outside. So here we are, 4 pressure points in one offseason, cap space that can turn into a weapon or a trap, a pass rush decision that could define how nasty this defense looks next year, a trenches upgrade that keeps Herbert upright, a draft prospect whose stock could be rising after a big week, and a coaching staff getting targeted because it's valuable. Now I want your take, Bolt fam. If you're running this offseason, are you going all in with the cap right now? Or are you saving your shots for the draft and letting the board come to you? Drop it in the comments, debate it, argue it out like we're supposed to. And if you're riding with this team, hit like and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Chargers Nation, this is where it gets real.